Welcome back to the Chivalry of a Failed Knight Anime Review, episode number 3. This one reviewing the last 4 episodes that officially aired for the series. Okay, now, for these episodes, we kind of get an introduction, a little bit backstory into the student council president, where she and the VP actually grew up in an orphanage. Yeah, he was in episode 1. And, oh boy, the stuff becomes really crazy by the time episode 10 happens. Yeah, so pretty much with these episodes, this is pretty much kind of like almost like the down, not for the series of the main character, because his father really wants to have him fail so badly, all because doesn't have the special gift that he and his sister has, his beautiful sister, and basically his henchmen decided to make a scandal out of completely nothing. Yeah. The scandal is that, the Vermilion Princess is in a forbidden affair with a local student. Who cares? Yeah. So he's brought before a stupid ethical committee. And I'm like, okay, this ethics committee is really stupid. Oh my gosh, ethics committees probably should not act this way. This is pretty much the leader of this ethics committee basically being bought and paid for by Ichi's father. And he really wants him to fail. And of course he's brought them because, well, the scandalous affair. Excuse me. And this starts right after he comes back from visiting a group of kids. So he pretty much spends almost entirely at episode 11 battling a bunch of students in a building, off-site, and barely giving any rest. It's also implied he hasn't eaten anything at all or drank anything in days. It's implied he's been to this place for like based on the time since they show for episode 11, it looked like he'd been to this place for at least a month or two at most. Yes, well, Stella's basically just have undefeated streak in her matches. He, of course, is having unsanctioned bouts in his building. And they really want him to fail. They pretty much put him in front of a kangaroo court. It's like, yeah, we're gonna basically do something about you. And this is something that was implied to basically been happening prior to the series, where Ichi's father really wanted him to fail and held him back and did not want him to graduate from the school. Yeah, and when the new director took over, she decided to fire all the staff that were involved in that stupid nonsense. Here, it's like very similar. And now, as the final match, basically, now during the whole when he's held in captivity, I'm kind of like, why can't anybody just rescue him? Oh no, we can't do that for some strange reason. It happened in the book too, so don't worry. This is basically not changing the book. Though I keep thinking, though, now I get maybe Stella not going to want to rescue him. Fine, because she wants to focus on matches. But why not his beautiful sister? She could easily go and rescue him. Nope. No rescue plan. I don't think rescue's even considered. Despite the fact even the sister realized, this is utter bullcrap what this guy is pulling. All because this guy is from a branch family of theirs, and he's on the father's payroll. Oh boy. So, basically the punishment is this. He has to fight the student council president, a woman he has a lot of respect for, in a sanctioned match at the 7th Festival. Now, I kind of thought, though, in my head that, I read the book, that maybe this would take place in the building. Thank God the ethics committee is not that stupid to have this match with the student council president at this very unsafe building, and apparently a teacher's not allowed to touch him. I mean, she's trying to be nice to him. Though Stella, very nice just of her, she cut off basically a little stick of her hair so he can always think of her. Also, episode 11 is shot very weirdly. It's basically done in neo-noir style, which is kind of strange. It's kind of like video footage, and also that Stella basically is doubting herself. Though, lucky enough that Sugo basically splashes water on her, tells her to wake up, and realizes that Ichi's doing this for her sake. So, and then they had the final match, happening in episode 11. The match itself doesn't happen until halfway through the episode. Yes, they're really pushing it for this one. And they have the match, and it's really quick. Before the match, we also have TD, the woman who I believe, based on her voice, I believe she's voiced by Karma Lee. She's popped up occasionally in this series. She first popped up in the first episode. She popped up in episode 4. She disappeared after episode 4. I think she popped up once prior to this, but then she appeared this last episode. Makes sense. And apparently, because of how big this match is, it was broadcast on worldwide television. A sword battle. Okay? And of course, Ethic Committee guy, even though he was told to have Ichi arrive at the stadium, he chose not to bring him. Because he's stupid. Because he really wants him to fail. So, Ichi had to walk all the way there. And luckily enough, his sister was able to catch up with him. We just about reached the building. And they get there, and of course, Stella has the medal, basically, proving she actually is able to advance, no problem. And then it gets the actual battle itself. Now, lucky enough that their masters are basically to witness the battle. This battle is very, very brief. So Ichi puts all of his power into one stroke. And the president herself, despite Ichi is like very weak, he's like basically exhausted. He's hardly even slept. So he wins the bout in less than a minute. He breaks her sword, and he's declared the winner. And he's like, I don't want to pass out. And of course, the guy himself is like, no, I can't let this stand. And he brings out freaking X, like he really wants to kill Ichi. Look how Stella comes in, beats the crap out of him, and then he does something completely unexpected. Now, Ichi does, not the ethics committee guy. He proposes to her right in front of everybody. Like, I want to start a family with you. And she's like, what took you so long? And of course, she accepted. And this made worldwide news, apparently. Yes, the Vermilion Princess and a local son of a local clan head is engaged. Awesome way to... it's not exactly the end of the episode just yet. Now, they don't show Ichi's hospital stay because I would think he needed to go to the hospital because he's bloodied all over. And according to the guy who's there, who's basically a respected master... Even he was very impressed by his skill and his strength. Could he possibly give us win? I don't know. It's possible. Also, I should point out, besides Stella and Alice and Suguru, also a lot of his students basically are there to help him. So they get back to the stadium. And of course, the president was there informed that they got there via text. Yes, an actual text. Okay. And... because the fact it made worldwide, also I should point out that there's this really, before I get to, I don't have to rewind a bit, but there's this really kind of dumb scene that, in case you're wondering, did this play out like it did in the light novel? Yes. Yes, it did. It's Ichi talking to his stupid father. A man who he acknowledges him as his son, but he doesn't acknowledge his skills as a swordsman. Nope. He just sees him as a failure just because he doesn't have the gift. And, like I think he said that his father thinks he's worthless, because he does think that, and he should basically fail. This is one brief conversation he has, and from what I remember from the light novel, this conversation is pretty much word for word the same as is the manga. Not the manga, the light novel. I read the manga. That was adapted from this. Not from the anime, but from the light novels. And Ichi's father does not care about him at all. Nope, he doesn't care. He just writes him off as a failure, and he will still talk to his son, but talk to him in a way where he's not actually his son. It's almost like he disowned him. And, of course, later on, right after the proposal happened, Stella's father calls Ichi's father, like, oh, Emperor Vermilion, how nice to hear from you. And the Emperor calls Ichi's father by his first name, implied these two might have known each other prior to this. And it's like, yeah, he says, as the head of the magic whatever, like, oh, I won't, like, and the Emperor's like, just stop. This has gone far enough. Let them do what they want to do. And the whole scandal was swept under the rug. And then we have the selection ceremony of the people going to the Seven Arts Festival. Basically, it is Alice is going. I believe, yeah, Alice is going along with Stella, and they're all basically ranked basically via letter. I believe the VP is going. Actually, no, the treasurer is going. The one who dresses in a Southern Belle outfit. She's going. Stella's going. Alice is going. Ichi is definitely going because he won his big match. Because it was completely obvious that he was going. There was a couple others. I don't remember who they were, but they were definitely students there. And then the student council president has to choose the flag leader who will be the leader of this team. And it's Ichi. Yep. And then the episode ends with not that. No, it actually ends a little bit differently, with basically Suguru teaching Stella how to be a Karakuru bride. Though it's probably rules she made up, but she'll probably teach her to be part of the family. Nice one at the end of the episode, and good set of episodes. I wasn't really a big fan of the storyline with Ichi's father. I thought that was kind of completely pointless. Now, I get the fact why they did it, because they had to address it, but this guy... Oh yeah, by the way, after with a stunt he pulled, he got removed from the ethics committee. So, basically, Ichi's father has no influence, no more influence to get involved with his son's, to interfere with his son's life in a negative way. Basically, he can do whatever he wants. And he does. And it's implied, though, in this episode that Stella's father has no problem with engagement. From what I've read, he actually is against it. But I haven't read that far in the actual light novels of exactly where this basically happened. And I'm not sure when. Now, I know, I read online that apparently Ichi does meet Stella's parents. I don't know what light novel that happens in, but it does happen. I will eventually get back to reading light novels, eventually. I know there's been 17 volumes released. I don't know why that only just the first 3 have been released here. Yeah, it's completely unknown why they just released the first one and just stopped. It's kind of a similar situation I had with a few other light novel series I've read. The one of whom has finally been released here, and that's High School DxD. That was actually the first series based upon a light novel that I actually watched after I read it. And that book series is finally having an official English translation. The first volume is coming out in 2 months. Actually, it's a little over a month from now. Yeah. As for, there's about a few others I've read where there is no English release, like Taskmaster's New Devil. This series, despite being 12 volumes, never had an English release. I don't know why. There's Asuka's Rogue Hero. Another series, same writer, does not have an English release. This series, most of the series not released. I'd say about 14. I would say, I think it's about 15 out of 18 volumes have not been released here. Don't know why it's like that for, but I'm sure there's probably is a reason. And as far as I know, there is no season 2. There is nothing. I mean, it does deserve a season 2, definitely, especially since its ending basically left it open for that. It's kind of similar to what happened with me, anyways, when watching the end of the final episode of Another World with my smartphone, where great adaptation and only 1 season, 12 episodes, and yet the last series I watched, Aphria, this was like that got negative criticisms for its adaptation, and that's getting a season 2. This series isn't. Which, I guess for some people, that does not make any sense. Why is a negatively received series get season 2 and not a series that got positive reception? Don't know why. And the thing is, the company that make it could do another season they wanted to, but they just haven't yet. I mean, one of the studios basically who made the series, this is the only series they've actually made where it's based upon a light novel. Because they have like 2 based upon like a 4-panel manga. The other is based upon a regular manga series. And they have like 1 original work. The other one has not produced that many. Like one's around for like roughly about 5 years. The other's around for freaking 12. And it took 2 studios to make these 12 episodes. I mean, if I could think of any studio who could possibly do an adaptation, like maybe another one if they wanted to, I could probably say Passionate might be a good choice. I would definitely not recommend the studio who made Taskmaster's New Devil because they're out of business. Because of bad ethical practices and the fact they barely pay their employees. Yeah. But not much else to say about Chivalry of a Failed Knight. Would I do reviews this series like I did with High School DxD? I don't know. It's possible I might be able to do it. I mean, there's only just 15 volumes, so if I wanted to, I could do it in about 15 specials. That's if I want to. I mean, basically stuff I read, it does pique my interest. Yep. But yeah, so that's it for Single Review. My next review is a review of the newest episode of Black Clover. Okay? See you next video. Bye.